but our next guest needs introduction. Jotham Mutoka is the Deputy CEO and Chief Commercial Officer at SBM Bank. He's our next guest. Good morning, Jotham.
Morning, Eric.
Welcome to Kenya's biggest conversation.
Thank you.
It's a situation room. That's the hot seat of the situation room. How does it feel?
Well, not so hot for now.
Very good. Very good. It's not going to be hotter than this. That's all.
Thank you.
That's the hottest it will be.
Right.
So we'll be talking about SBM Bank. Many people have seen SBM Bank, especially those that have been along Riverside Drive where the headquarters is and other places where the branches are. You'll tell us more about it, more about the bank and the bank's operations in Kenya. You're commemorating 5 years.
Yes, indeed. We are commemorating
It's already 5 years.
5 years. Indeed.
I remember reading the news and saying, all right, SBM Bank has now taken over this and the other. You'll tell us about the taking over and where you came from. 5 years already.
Yes, 5
well
years.
Well done.
It goes in a flash, man.
Well done.
Yeah, thank you.
Congratulations.
We appreciate that.
I've got the day's proverb. This week's Proverbs. If CT Muga were here, he'd have given you the proverb. But he's told me, Eric, just do this one. I'm busy. So I've taken it up. The Proverbs are from South Africa, and today's proverb is, in a herd of cattle, it doesn't matter which is ahead. In a herd of cattle, it doesn't matter which is ahead. What do you make of that? What's your interpretation of it?
I believe when you're in the herd, you're all going to one destination. So whether you're at the front or in the middle, I believe what it means is that we all get there. How we get there is an individual decision, but acting within the herd. Yep.
You know, when I looked at this proverb early in the morning, I was telling you, I disagree. It matters who's at the head.
You must have a leader.
Because that's why also we talk, if the head gets injured, then the herd doesn't get to the pasture. So it matters who's at the head of this herd of cattle.
Actually, if you were referring to elephants, it would be different. The proverb chose cattle. So for cattle,
it doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, let's go with it. SBM Bank. Introduce us to this bank.
Yes. First, let me say, Eric, SBM stands for State Bank of Mauritius. All right. SBM Bank has its origin out of Mauritius. This is where the group started in 1973. And in this, the bank is one of the largest banks in Mauritius, actually with a total asset base close to 1 trillion shillings, actually more than 1 trillion shillings now. That's for the group. And SBM in Kenya, we are a subsidiary of the SBM group, 100% subsidiary, and we started business here in 2017. As we said before, we just celebrated the first 5 years of SBM's existence in Kenya. And it's been a journey that has been good. We've been able to walk a long journey, so to speak, the 5 years, knowing the origins of how we started. All right? Now, in Kenya, we have developed a client base, and we're developing a brand that is strong. A brand that is strong in the corporate business. Again, we do have a heritage out of Mauritius in doing corporate business. In the SME business, we do have a heritage in SME business in Kenya, and we have strengthened that. And in addition to that, we have a heritage in the retail business, especially on private wealth management. Right? In Kenya now, we do have 41 branches.
Wow.
Yes. And we are basically in all the bigger counties and large part of the country where there's a concentration of business in those 3 specific areas that I've mentioned.
Okay.
Yep.
So it's called State Bank of Mauritius.
Yes.
Is it owned by the state of Mauritius?
By and large, yes.
Okay. So it's a government entity.
Yes.
Mostly in Mauritius.
Mostly in Mauritius.
But
yes, it does have quite a bit of the shareholding floated to the public in the stock exchange of Mauritius.
Okay.
Yeah.
When you got into the country, into this market, of course, you are a new entity, not known in the local market. You took over an institution that had some negative publicity. What was that turbulence like? Because you cannot call it anything other than turbulence and choppy waters.
Yes, indeed, as you mentioned, it was turbulent at the beginning. Because again, when you're just picking an institution that had trouble with its depositors, an institution that had trouble with its customers, an institution that did not have something you would say in terms of customer centricity and also giving a good customer experience. Essentially, it would be a turbulent beginning. But one of the things that really helped us is the legacy that we came with. Because we are SBM, we are not the institution that we took over. And therefore that helped a lot, because indeed there are people in the public who knew who SBM is. And of course, beyond that, we embarked on a journey that was designed to give confidence to the customers, those that we acquired from the institution, and those that I knew that we acquired after we became SBM. More to say, when we came on board, we brought in a new culture of doing business. How we do business is totally different from what the customers knew before. And for those who are joining on board, have had an experience over the last 5 years. And this is what is driving what we're doing in this market. And we are glad that, yes, it's good this far.
We've seen that some of your targets have, in terms of customers, has been high net worth individuals, SMEs, and small but in terms of valuable, money for their bank corporates. Why was that the target market, and how has that unfolded over the last 5 years?
Okay, essentially, again, just like you guys in radio, when you are choosing a market, you choose a market that will benefit from the key advantages that you have.
Yeah.
Yes, we are in the retail space. Yes, we do have a superb offering for the high net worth. In the retail market, we have products that take care of customers sitting in the whole spectrum. Remember, in the retail market, we have the low end of the market, we have the middle end of the market, and also we have the high end of the market. We do serve those three segments within the retail space with different products for each of the segments. And this is what makes us tick, because again, we do have teams that are handling each of these sections of the market. The same goes for the SME business that we do, and also for the corporate business that we do. One of the things that we do as an institution is that we do not have one product for all. If you are sitting in the corporate space, first we'll have to try and understand you, get to see what you do, how you do it, and then we design something that suits you. That's how we do our business, and that sets us apart.
It's instructive to note, when you were describing your suite of offerings, you started with corporate banking, then SME, then you went into retail, and you were clear to specify focusing on private wealth. So it sounds to me that that's your order of priority. Why corporate?
Corporate, because again, if you look at the Kenyan market, if you need quantum, and if you need to support the biggest sectors, for example, manufacturing, if you need to support renewable energy, if you need to support distribution, majority of the players who carry volumes and who would swing the impact in terms of quantum would be corporate. And again, because out of our heritage, out of Mauritius, we have some unique offerings in this space, especially if you're talking about trade finance, and if you're talking about an international business, especially for import-export business. Again, we come in very strong in that space. So corporate, by and large, yes, indeed, it covers a large portion of our portfolio as we speak, by virtue of the quantum that we run within this, and also the collaborations that we do both here and with the group as well.
It's competitive though, isn't it?
Yes,
I'd imagine all the tier 1 and tier 2 banks are going for the same corporate sector.
Yeah, it's very competitive, and I must say that, look, we are all in that sector. But it's how we do business that differentiates who succeeds and who doesn't. And I can say, yes, that we do have linkages and collaborations that have helped us. And I'll give you an example. If you're doing anything out of the business, whether you're importing machinery or importing pharmaceutical products out of India or any of the markets, because we do have SBM in India, we have SBM in Mauritius, we use these collaborations to make it easier for business people who are doing imports or exports into India or out of India. On the retail space, we also make it easier for, you may realize that our market has quite a bit of people out of the Indian origin that would like to touch base with what is happening at home. So we offer unique and products for them that would enable them touch base with what they left in India or their current collaborations there. So again, this is on trade finance. On the trade finance side, in terms of the scale, in terms of financing corporate transactions, again, we have SBM Kenya, and we bring in the collaborations of the strength of the group to be able to provide solutions that work for them. Agility has been one of the things that we do, and that also sets us apart.
How would you describe, or into what bracket does a high net worth individual fall into in Kenya today?
That's a very difficult question, because again, it depends on where.
It's a very rich question.
Yeah, it depends on where you're sitting, actually. But again, for us, high net worth individuals would be in the scale of anyone who has a monthly turnover of above $1 million shillings. That would be in that space.
From different sources?
Yes, okay. Especially whether you are in business, it's okay. Whether you are employed, it's still fine. Monthly income will define that. For we also have the middle income level, because as I mentioned from the beginning, we have segmented our retail market, and we have specific teams that are dealing with that. There is a team that we call Aspire, which is the middle income. You're aspiring to get into the higher bracket, and therefore we work with you to enable you move into the next bracket, because needs for this specific segmentation within the retail space are different. When you're earning $1 million and over, your needs are not the same as the person who is earning between 500,000 to $1 million.
Sure.
Yes.
And so what are those needs then that you've been able to fulfill? I imagine coming in and making the service available to people of a certain caliber when it comes to how much they earn. Then what then has been provided for them?
Okay, we do have various channels within which we disseminate our products. There are those who are on the high net worth side. We prefer giving you specific service, even getting to visit you in your office. We bring the service to you. We have the mobile banking platform called Mfukoni that will help you for your transactions locally. We have the online banking that will help you that, and we also link you to our private wealth collaborators in country and outside the country. For the high net worth. For the middle level, we look at your specific needs, whether you are in employment, whether you run your own business, that we provide a solution that will enable you to do business seamlessly from our digital platforms. Our digital platforms move from the online banking, go to the M2B channels for those who are paying you. For example, if you're in business and someone pays you, you should be able to see that on your statement real time. And that's what we do for the middle income people, and also for the what we call the Aspire. If you are employed, we provide for you services that will help you now move to the next level based on your level of income and also the aspirations. Because as you know, well, there are people who are employed, but they run with projects they want to accomplish. You have your school fees, you have your children either schooling here or schooling out of the country. We provide solutions for you on that. Not forget the diaspora market that requires investments here. And these are the teams, again, the Aspire teams is doing a lot of investments, whether you're doing investments in real estate, whether you're doing investment in any business activity, we just support you do that. How do we do that? By giving you the necessary funding, by giving you the necessary tools, and also taking you to participate in some of the trainings that we offer as an institution for our customers.
There's a lot then about this small and medium enterprise sector. How do you define SME as a bank?
Okay, for us, SME is any individual who is actively involved in business. We do have micro. Under micro, there are businesses that are run by an individual. And beyond that, you move to the middle level where you have a semblance of an office setup with a number of employees. We define them by the number of people they employ and also the level of turnover they're able to do. If you're employing a number below 50 employees, that we will put you in the SME space. And in terms of the turnover, for the SMEs, we run from 50 million to 500 million per annum turnover. That's how we segment our market. This is specifically segmentation and SBM so that we know how to deal with you. And we then offer a specific bouquet of products for that market. This is where we come with unsecured lending. Yes.
For SMEs?
Yes, for SMEs.
So what do you need? Of course, there has to be security. It's only that I'm not bringing a title.
What we've done is that we look at our business and your business and how you do it. We do not necessarily require a title. We've also partnered with the Africa Guarantee Fund to cover us and share the risk on that. Because again, in this space, you realize, yes, you have people who have business ability. They are running successful businesses, but they would not have, for example, a piece of land or a building to give you as collateral.
Yeah.
What they require is to improve on their activity. And in this, what you're looking at is working capital financing. Sorry, at times we default into the financial
jargon.
So I was trying to avoid using that word. Working capital, this means giving you financing that will support you increase the level of activities that you do. For example, if you're importing one container of second-hand clothes, would enable you import 2 or 3. But because you've been in this business and you're doing, and we know you're destined to succeed, we walk the journey with you. That's what we do. We will not look at how many pieces of land.
So how do you do it?
How we do it?
The example. So there's a Mitumba trader,
yes,
all right?
Yes.
Who has an account or doesn't have an account with SBM Bank,
yes.
And they come to you. They say, you know what, guys, I'd like to grow my business. My competitors are now doing 4 or 5 bills. I want to do 10. So walk the journey.
Yes, we would look at what have you been doing. Have you been doing 1? Have you been doing 2? Where are you importing from? Because again, out of getting this information, you understand the depth of the operation of the prospects who we have. Because I believe the example you're giving is someone who is starting with SBM for the first time. So we look at if you've been doing 2 containers, where are you importing them from? What is the cost of each of the container? And then we're saying, how long does it take you to sell these containers? How do you do your banking? Then we look at your current banking statement. Or if you don't have the banking statement, we look at how you've been receiving your cash. Whether it's on M-Pesa, then we look at your M-Pesa statement.
Okay.
Based on the analysis on that, then we look at how you do your ordering. Where do you order from? How long does it take to come? How do you pay for it? So we work with you there. We will pay the first or the second container for you. You bring it in. We see how that moves. If it moves within the timeline that you stated when we were having this discussion, then we fund you for the next round of things. And when we funded you for the first one, we will fund you for the second one and move with you along that journey. What we are keen on seeing is that indeed, when you do your sales, the estimates that you give us are coming through, and therefore we just work with you throughout the journey. So that if you imported 3 containers last time, we will help you import 4 and 5, so that we move step by step. We will not give you 10 containers from 1. Because we know we're throwing you into the deep end.
We have to grow.
So we walk
with
the journey with you. Yes.
You know, banks have been accused of being predators in a way. So you'll have all these sweet words that you say, you come, we'll support you, we'll walk the journey with you. But then when it comes to assessing your risk, then they start pricing that facility they're giving you at exorbitant rates because, you're risky. You didn't even have a bank statement. You're giving me M-Pesa statements. So that adds 4%. Number 2, you have just been doing this business for X number of years. That adds another 2%. You end up giving somebody at some rates above 20%. Do you have a cap? within the organization that says, you know what, if we are supporting a small business, then we shouldn't support a small business if we are charging them at a rate of X?
Yes, I can tell you for sure that one of the reasons that why our customers stick with us, one is the agility with which we look at their requests in terms of time and speed. Number two, we have been seen to be fair in terms of our pricing for what we do, or at all levels, whether it's high net worth, whether it's SME, or whether it's micro. We are able to do that. And what we do is we try to remain within the market range and also offer facilities that would add value to the customer. We'll not give you a facility that will kill you, because when we do that, we're not helping you. Our intention is to see you do the next lot of things.
You want to keep me barely alive. What is this rate, Jotham?
Okay, I would say you may know that right now the rates in the industry have been on the rise, so to speak. Our rates now are between 13% up to 18.5%.
Okay.
I can tell you that for
a fact.
Yes.
As you talk about the individuals that SBM has supported over the years, credit, obviously, access to credit is a big deal. Have you been able to see the transformation of businesses, whether at an individual or corporate level, with the assistance and the support that SBM has granted to them over the years? That businesses, having started off this way, getting a little bit of a boost or picker-upper from SBM, then we see 5 years later that the transformation has happened as a result of SBM inputs.
Yes, indeed, and that's why we are in this market, actually. That's actually the day-to-day activities that we do. I must say that SBM as an institution, we thrive a lot in being close to our customers. By and large, we know our customers by name. We know what they do. As I mentioned before, we walk the journey with them. There are institutions in the SME space that we have worked with from the beginning, especially those who are in different sectors. Majority of them will be in distribution. We've worked with them from the initial steps where we visit a business and they have this level of stock. We've been able to help them improve on that. Number two, those who are just starting business in manufacturing. Again, we do have SMEs in manufacturing. Eric, you may find this odd, but yes, we walk that journey every day. And so we've been able to upscale their business, either by supporting them in different products that we offer for financing or making easier their cash flow management. We've taken them through training that we partner with various training providers to offer support, either in financial cash management, or whether it's in human resource management, and whether it's in sourcing, or whether it's supporting them in finding markets. We've been able to work with them in that. The other thing that we've been able to do is for those that do not have sufficient security, we've been able to look at what they have and put them under the scheme that we work with Africa Guarantee Fund to be able to enable them and benefit from the products that we have. This is not only in the SME space. We've done that in the corporate space. We've been able to upscale some institutions for their exports out of Kenya, especially those in the agri-processing. We've also been able to support those that are bidding for projects here, especially those in the pharmaceutical industry, where they do have collaborators from out there. And we've been able to help them on the sourcing of the same. So by and large, we do add value to the customers that we serve every day. This is our daily bread. Just like you guys are on radio, we are in the field all throughout.
What would you say is the biggest pain point for Kenyan in any of these three markets segments that you've talked about when it comes to financial services? What is the main pain point?
I think I must say that the pain point that many institutions suffer is the requirement for more than required documentation when you're looking for facilities and the procedures that you have to go through.
Why do you think this is so?
And the timelines that you have to wait for you to get a solution. The reason why this is so, because again, we must be realistic, Eric, that our market is full of good people, and also it has some
Interesting
bad people, so to say. And it's for those who are good go through this rigmarole because of those who are not so good. And so for us to be able, as institutions in the banking sector, to tell who would be good and who is not so good, we have to go through that process.
That whole rigorous process.
Yeah, but one of the things that financial institutions have done, and specifically SBM, is to make easier that process by looking for one document that will give you various aspects about the touch points about the customer, as opposed to asking for 10 documents. We try to simplify that process. For example, now we have CRBs that would give you some fairly rich information about an individual and where they do the banking and how they do business. The other thing is, especially we find this in the SME space, is that keeping of records is still a nightmare for many institutions.
Yeah.
And that's why for us, training for the customers we take on board is one of the key things that we do. We run them through training so that it becomes easier for them to submit the documentation that we require. You may realize that some of these documents are simple documents, but if the customers do not know how important they are, they will not keep them. If we run them to understand how important they are, then they'll keep them for us. So when we're doing the reviews, it becomes easier.
But does it, I think it comes with a benefit. It's a cost benefit. And if I do not see the benefit of some of these things, then they don't matter. Banks have been accused very often in this country of being mean and rigid, like you've talked about. These know your customer procedures that are just the same ones that you had in 1994, the same ones you're deploying in 2023, and just wondering, so what's changed? Everything else has changed, but this hasn't. And you're saying that now, yes, there is, for example, the Credit Reference Bureau, where you can get a lot of information about your customer, and you can use that then to know how to categorize them in terms of risk and pricing. But then, where's the benefit for it? Would you say that, for example, at SBM, if you went to CRB and you found that this person has been green, doing very well for very many years, then you can give them some credit for that when it comes to pricing their debt and their facilities?
Yes, we do. As a bank, we implemented the risk-based pricing, which looks at the various aspects of risk for the individual customers that we're looking at. What comes out of the CRB, your rating in CRB plays a big role in this, because it shows us your history, which is very important in terms of knowing the character of the individual we want to lend to, or the institution we want to lend to. If you have a good history, then the pricing is better. Of course, if your history is not so good, there's a level where we will still lend to you, but the pricing will be slightly steep. And if your history is not good, then we will not lend to you. That's the reality of the situation. And this is how we get to separate, and this is how customers get the benefit of being a good borrower.
Okay.
Yes.
If we combine all those things, so somebody's CRB rating is very good.
Yes.
Somebody's document keeping and record keeping has been very good. Can a customer come and use that as leverage to negotiate their facility lower?
Yes.
And do you let your customers know that this is information you can use to come to the negotiating table?
Yes, we do that, and we've done that at all the training sessions that we've had with the customers. And when I gave you a range of the pricing, you may want to ask what determines who gets the 14.5 and what determines who gets the 18.5. It's basically the risk and how you've carried yourself in the previous environment, and also the sector in which you are. There are some sectors that have ups and downs. There's sectors that do good business. And so we bring all these aspects into the risk-based pricing model, and then based on that, then you get either the medium level in terms of pricing or
the higher
or the lower level in terms of
But
pricing.
Jotham, do I get visibility into this thinking of your credit side? Because I'll be dealing with my customer relations manager, talk to them, about the facility, about my needs. They'll be very polite. They'll walk me through the journey. They'll tell me, submit this documentation. After that, I'm told it's gone to the risk guys. And the risk guys come back with a verdict. I don't get to interact with the risk guys.
Okay, what we have done as an institution is that all our clients have relationship managers, whether you are sitting in the SME space, whether you are in the corporate space, and whether you are in the low end of the market. The reason why we do this is because we know at different levels you have different challenges that you come across. We have trained our relationship managers to be able to be the go-between between the client and the risk guys. Well, as you rightfully said, Eric, the risk guys do not have the visibility of the client, but the relationship managers that we have see both sides of the risk side, that is the institution is willing to take, and also the advice to the customer. When we take our customers through the training sessions, these are some of the things that we highlight to them. And our relationship managers have been taken through training to understand how it's important for us to make the customers understand how they're supposed to do certain things. So when we are working with you in the journey as our customer, then we take you through this. And when you walk into any of our branches, Eric, I would challenge you, just take a walk into any of the SBM branches and see how you're welcome. And when we meet next, you will tell me what your experience
was.
One of the things that we thrive in is giving our customer an experience that is not paralleled. And that's what I meant when I say it's how we do business. The products that we offer, some will tell you some of them are vanilla, but how we offer them makes the whole difference.
Okay. I guess by virtue of the fact that you come into the market and create a niche product, and then have the niche customers, whether they're individuals, it sets you then as a leader. Doesn't matter that and organically it'll happen.
Yes.
By virtue of the fact that it's a certain kind of customer that you pander then to. Then also ask the question that as you've done this and you've set these particular markers, and then you've created an appetite for this kind of business, what guarantees then do you have for the customer that, look, we're going to be here and going to continue allow you to enjoy this?
All right. I think I may just say this, that, as SBM, we are in this market for the long haul. When we start a journey with the customer, we starting that journey knowing very well that we will be with this customer for the long haul. The products that we give you are products that will develop you from your current state to what you aspire to be in the next 4 or 5 years, and even 10 years beyond that. As an institution, we are strong as any other can be. As I said from the beginning, the SBM Kenya is a subsidiary of SBM Mauritius. And this is a group that's strong enough, has been around for many years. As I said, with a total asset base of above $1 trillion shillings, that is as strong as it can be. And in Kenya, we are determined to grow our business. We're not trying to grow too fast. No, we're growing step by step. And as we build the brand, we give our customers a service that they are glad to relate with. And in fact, they do recommend some of their friends to us. That's how we're growing our business. And we will be in this market providing products that will support their businesses, providing products that will support their individual journeys, and providing products that will guarantee them of a strong partner going forward. Because again, Eric, you need a strong financial partner for you to walk the journey that, especially in these difficult economic circumstances.
Sure.
And SBM is there to offer that to our customers, yes.
So then, with a lot of the transactions that you make, then these actions are insular. It's the bank and the individuals and the business. But then also lies a great opportunity then for this kind of interaction to then play outward within the environment that the bank operates, which is Kenya.
Yes.
So then also then create spaces for thought leadership and action leadership here and there. What would you say have then been the challenges that you face in the market whether it's at an individual or at a corporate level, that then you've seen there exist solutions for Kenya at large?
I think I must say that in terms of the environment and the opportunities that we see, Kenya has quite a wide array of opportunities that our customers can get into. One of the things that we do as an institution is when we are supporting our customers, especially in the corporate space, where some of them have aspirations of developing their business beyond the boundaries of Kenya. What we've done is to try and see what can they leverage on to be able to move their business to the next level. Of course, there are challenges that we see in the market that they face. Of course, in 2020, we all knew the challenges that COVID brought about.
Yeah.
Those are challenges that were beyond their customers that we were dealing with. And after 2020, when we thought we are done with COVID, of course, the issue of the war between Russia and Ukraine came. With all the disruptions that it had in the international logistics and also on the prices of some of the commodities. As you know very well, right now we're grappling with the high fuel prices, high electricity prices in Kenya. This affects business. And we are hoping that as we move forward, we will see a stability of some of these things. What we are doing is we are trying to help our customers ride the tide. Because again, they have to survive and see the future beyond the economic challenges that we're facing right now. As SBM, we understand this. For example, during the COVID time, we knew there are customers who were not going to be able to pay because of the circumstances. We gave them moratorium. We also did extension of their loans. Even after COVID, we had to do that because it took longer for the economy to come back. And again, now we're looking after the issue of the disruptions that have come around because of the Ukrainian war. We did support some of our clients that were in the import, especially for those who are importing grains for the manufacturing within the country. Again, we supported them by offering LCs and lengthening some of those LCs in line with the longer timelines, the lead times for importation. So when we say that we do work with our customers on their journey, we look at all these aspects. You would not come to us and say, yes, my container has been delayed and therefore I'll not be able to pay in line with what I shared, and then we say no. We will say, okay, for how long has it been delayed? Then we look at extending the specific instrument, whether it was pre-shipment finance or import financing that we'll do. We will lengthen that in line with the timelines that you see, because we deal with customers who face challenges, and the reason why we're here as an institution is to help them surmount.
To be the solution.
Yeah, to surmount
those challenges.
Yes.
One of the challenges that some of your, I'm sure, customers face, especially those that are importers, is accessing foreign exchange. We've been hearing this in the market for a while. How do you support your customers when somebody comes to you and tells you, I need 100,000 USD within a week? What do you do?
Well, as an institution, of course, you know, the challenge that we've had on the issue of foreign exchange has been countrywide. And it's not just countrywide. Because we operate in other countries as well, we've seen the same challenge in other countries as well. So it's not a Kenyan problem, it's a global problem, so to speak. And therefore, how we've done this is, again, you find that you will need to pay for an import bill. Your LC is due in 1 month. What we do is we advise customers to start sourcing for the dollars in advance, because the supply of dollars will vary from one day to another depending on what inflows we receive out of the exporting customers and also what we get out of the diaspora customers that we have. And based on that, because it does not come in one big shot, we advise customers to buy as they move towards the maturity of the instrument. If you know you're paying dollars in the next 15 days, don't wait until day 14 and come and you want the whole lot. So we've kept close to our customers and we advise them step by step. The good thing is that we know the programs of their imports because we work with them closely. And therefore, we work with them, advising them on how they're supposed to be purchasing these currencies based on what is available within the bank. We have supplied quite a bit of dollars in this market, and our corporate customers know that. We've also done that even for our retail customers and know that. And of course, our international presence helps us a lot in this as well. Yep.
You know, it was said that at some point it was a cutthroat environment in the sourcing of dollars. Each of you in the market trying to help your customer in the market trying to help themselves. And those that were managing are those that knew how to play the game. How did you play the game? Or how are you playing the game?
We enabled them, of course, bringing together those who had dollars and those who are looking for them. And because at times we see both sides of the coin, then we sit in the middle to advise them accordingly. That's what I would say.
Okay.
Yeah.
5 years in the country, 50 years as SBM since 1973. Just looking back, those are many years. That's a heritage. So SBM is also strong in India and Madagascar, like you said. In any other parts of Africa?
Not yet in any other part of Africa. Kenya was the beginning, and after Kenya, the region could be what follows. Again, this
Why
is
Kenya?
Kenya is central to many things. And in terms of business, in terms of stability, in terms of agility of the workforce, Kenya has very many advantages. For all investors who are coming into this country, we'll advise you that if you're looking around in the region, if you're looking for a market that is business friendly, Kenya is one of those markets. In terms of the ranking, you know, well, Mauritius has been first in terms of the ease of doing business, but Kenya has not ranked poorly. It has done well in that space. And so the choice of Kenya is by virtue of the fundamentals within the market. In terms of the legal system is quite good. In terms of the regulatory framework for whichever sector you get into, there is a regulator who takes care of that. In terms of the speed, in terms of the human resource, it's been fantastic for many institutions. And
geolocation.
Yes.
You've
And
got to say we are positioned well.
Yes, we are positioned well. Yeah. So basically, we're looking at this, and we are interested in growing our business significantly in Kenya.
Yeah.
But of course, steadily.
Sure.
Into the other parts of Africa. I'm sure, I'd imagine, that there are some customers of yours who are doing business in Kenya registered in Mauritius.
Yes.
Right? And we've seen very many stories of such companies that are registered in Mauritius. Then you hear the stories of Mauritius is a tax haven. And then comes in the conversation of how does then money come into our financial sector and end up in Mauritius? Is it following legal proper channels or is it not? As an institution that is also owned by the government of Mauritius, how stringent are you in checking the inflows and outflows of cash between Kenya and the tax haven that's Mauritius?
Okay, Eric, I must mention that, look, SBM Kenya is regulated by the Central Bank of Kenya. So in terms of corporate governance and AML strictness, it is as strict as ever. I also have to mention that, look, at the beginning I mentioned that the SBM Group is quoted in the stock exchange in Mauritius. And similarly, the stringent requirements for SBM Kenya follows the stringent requirement that the group exercises because of this being quoted in the stock exchange of Mauritius. And number two, we must say that contrary to how would I put it? The view that being in Kenya and Mauritius would enable people to do to use the tax haven. It's not that. Basically, we follow all the strict procedures of anti-money laundering, and we follow the same regulations here and in Mauritius, which are similar. You may have known that, yes, indeed, at some point Mauritius was put on the grey list, but that is now cleared. But again, as a country, Kenya, we go through the same. It's everywhere. So it is not unique to what SBM is. We are strong as ever. Our anti-money laundering procedures are strong as any other bank in this country. And therefore, as a team, we are strict on that because we believe good business has to be done within good regulation. Thank you.
Good. Well said. Jotham Mutoka, thank you very much for joining us today. And congratulations on marking 5 years in this market.
Indeed.
Wish you all the best.
Thank you very much, Eric. And we're happy to be on Spice today.
Tell the bosses down under that it was a good decision to come start in East Africa and in Kenya particularly. From here, you'll grow.
Thank you. We will do that. Okay.
Jotham Mutoka is the Deputy CEO and Chief Commercial Officer at SBM Bank in Kenya. Has been in the country since 2017, marking 5 years. Keep it here for more conversations.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day.